Marketing plans. The marketing plan is a written document which details all of the activities that are used to carry out the marketing strategy. Once the marketing strategy has been established, the marketing plan sets out the tactics that are going to be used to achieve this. So within this document you would list your marketing mix. Remember, that's the 4 P's: your price, your place, your product and your promotion. You list any time frames that need to be adhered to when you're doing your plan. And you'd also justify why you believe the decisions you're making in the marketing plan are going to be successful for the overall organisation. This should fit in with the overall aims and objectives set out by the corporate aims of the organisation. Okay, let's have a look at some of the elements of a marketing plan. One of the key elements you'll have is your SWOT analysis. Now that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So you look at the potential strengths of your organisation, you then look at the weaknesses with your organisation, and you try and put these right so that you can develop and improve the overall effectiveness of the organisation. You look at the opportunities that exist in the marketplace, and you look at the potential threats that exist in the marketplace. That will form a nice document which normally shows you've carried out some form of assessment of the market. Very good tool to use in a business decision making question. You'd also include your marketing objectives. Now remember, these would come from the corporate objectives, so these would feed in, so they show that how the marketing department can help to achieve the overall corporate objectives. You'd have your budgets, so you'd have your marketing budgets showing how they plan to expend revenue, and how they also plan to bring in additional forms of revenue to the organisation. You've got your marketing strategies and tactics that would go within the organisation. So you would show what strategies, what tactics are going to be used, and that's where your 4 P's would come in there. You'd have potential sales forecasts on what you can achieve if you actually carry out successful marketing. And you have what I call what-if analysis, a scenario analysis, where you carry out different assessments of what could happen. So maybe looking at what might happen if your competitors were to increase their selling price, what would happen if your competitors were to reduce their selling price, what would happen if the government was to increase taxation, what was to happen if a new entrant entered the market, and so on. And that would form the elements of your marketing plan. With any marketing plan, there are internal and external influences that are going to get in the way of being successful. Now, some of the internal influences that are going to get in the way of your planning could be the financial resources you've got available to yourself. So what financial resources are available within the organisation to carry out your marketing plan? You may have some fantastic ideas when it comes to marketing. However, if you can't finance them, then it's not going to be possible to complete these. Operational issues may get in the way. So how able are you in the organisation to actually deliver an increase in sales? Have you got the capacity to actually be able to deliver this increase in sales that's forecast? If you can't deliver it, then you may damage the reputation of the organisation when you fail to deliver to customers. So there's no point taking on orders that you can't deliver. Or have you got the machinery to deliver what you're actually marketing? Or do you need to invest in this? And then that links with the financial resources you've got, because remember, capital intensive production is vastly expensive in the short term, so you've got to make sure you've got that capital available to spend. And then in human resources, have you got the staff to do it? Have you got the number of staff, or do you need to do some recruitment? And then again, the availability of labour comes into this. And also, have you got the staff trained to do this? And have you got the finances available to train the staff to deliver the factors that are going to ensure you have that competitive advantage to deliver what your marketing department is saying in its marketing planning? External factors are fairly straightforward. These are factors outside of your business you've got no control over. And the most obvious one is your competitors. What your competitors do, how they act and how they respond is going to have a massive effect on your organisation and things that you can't plan for. Hopefully though, your what-if analysis will take it into account of this and can sort of predict what the knock-on effect could be. The conditions of the market could change, so you might find the economy moves from being a period of growth, for example, or boom, and it goes into decline, so a slump and a recession, and that can have a massive effect on how people spend money, their disposable income, and that could obviously affect on your pricing strategy and maybe the products you're selling, and whether it's a luxury or necessity product. And then you've got technological change. You may have a product which obviously at the moment is successful because technologically it's in fashion, it's cutting edge. However, if you then find that your product becomes less cutting edge, you lose that unique selling point, then you need to invest in new research and development methods, which again are expensive. And of course, have you got those resources and the capacity to do that? And is that going to damage your brand when you actually set about doing that process? Now, when you want to implement a marketing plan, you've got to consider some of the issues that may get in the way of making this plan successful in the long term. So things such as scheduling your tasks. You probably want to do some critical path analysis and draw out a schedule of what tasks are critical and successful to ensuring that the project and the plan is acted upon in time and cost effectively. And this can be difficult. Some people find it difficult to schedule what tasks are critical and who they need to schedule them to. If you get this part wrong, then the whole plan is destined to fail. Planning and the requirement of the resources that you're going to use can again be difficult. This can be just resources such as your actual requirements to make the product. Because if you're going to increase your sales, you need to make sure that you've got the resources to deliver this. Have you got the resources as well to carry out your marketing ideas? Or do you need to bring in agencies, for example? And who's going to organise and coordinate that? And can you bring in a range of agencies to deliver the campaign? Or do you need to bring in one agency and get them to focus on a long-term sustained campaign? These are all issues that need to be considered. And if you don't get them right, then you're probably going to lose the impact of the message you're trying to deliver. Costs, obviously, are one of the most important elements. Can you keep a lid on costs? Have you controlled the costs? Who is taking responsibility for the costs in this? Because if you let these spiral out of control, you're going to get an ineffective and expensive campaign. And responsibility. Who takes responsibility for the marketing plan? Who is ultimately responsible for the different aspects and elements? This is where it gets confused. If it's not clear who is responsible, then the plan is destined to failure. Okay, that's it. You should now be able to recall some of the key components that make up a marketing plan and be able to assess the internal and external influences on a marketing plan. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at BeeBusinessBee and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can tweet me any areas of business you want me to cover in the future, and don't forget to check out my website beebusinessbee.co.uk.